It's Monday, July 18th, 2022. Welcome to the Day Weather Podcast, brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Cowboy State Daily has more original Wyoming news content than any other news organization in the state. Cowboy State Daily. Sign up for the daily newsletter and check them out on their Facebook page. Well, it's all about the heat. Boy, it was a pretty warm weekend, especially yesterday, but boy, it's going to be extremely hot across the Intermountain West and Western High Plains today. In fact, I think this is probably the hottest day of the summer for many areas. There will be some records broken. We've got a lot of triple digits coming. Eastern Wyoming, western South Dakota, western areas of Nebraska, eastern Colorado, west Kansas, eastern Montana, just about everywhere along and east of the divide where you're below or around 5,000 feet. You're probably going to hit 100 degrees. Above those altitudes, at least getting well up into the 90s. A few thunderstorms will develop. There's actually a fair amount of humidity out there. You can kind of feel it in the air. That's going to trigger a few thunderstorms in a few areas, not all, because the high pressure will keep thunderstorm development from getting too widespread. But there will be a few thunderstorms today. Not as hot Tuesday and Wednesday. Drier air comes in. So temperatures Tuesday and Wednesday are still going to be plenty warm as a cool front comes through, but it won't be as hot as what we'll see today. Monsoon moisture is going to get pushed south by this front, but it's going to return later this weekend and into we could especially see the monsoon come in next week across the Intermountain West, and we'll show you that here in a moment. These were the temperatures as of 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon. So this is Sunday afternoon temperatures. And you can see all the 90s, you can see all the 100s across a large part of the central and western areas of the United States as this high pressure ridge is just right on top of us building up that heat. Even though we have subtropical moisture in place, and we do, you can see it right here, the high pressure ridge, which extends across the southern plains back into the Great Basin here, is really dominating the weather pattern. And when high pressure can get really strong, you can have a lot of moisture, but your thunderstorms are only going to form near the higher terrain, getting that extra lift. And that's what we're going to see today. You can see the high pressure right on top of Colorado. Now we have this low right here. You see this little guy right here? This is a little storm system in front that's going to move zip right across Montana into the Dakotas later today, tonight, and tomorrow. In fact, there's going to be an active period of thunderstorms here over the next 24 hours right along the U.S.-Canadian border. There's going to be some severe weather up there today and into tonight, and that is going to drag, this system right here will drag a cool front through. Now, it's all relative. Yes, I'm calling it a cool front. It's not going to feel very cool tomorrow and Wednesday, but it won't be as hot as what we're going to see as we get to today. These are today's forecasted high temperatures. So it's going to be a dirt burner no matter where you are, west of the divide, east of the divide, even up in the mountains. It's going to be a hot day. Also, we're going to have some wind. With this low up here, moving along the U.S.-Canadian border, it's going to cause increasing wind. And the reason I show you this, number one, is travelers driving high-profile vehicles across Montana and Wyoming and into the Dakotas. It's going to get a little windy today and into tomorrow. This also is going to mean really high fire danger. We've got the heat. We're going to see lower humidity in some areas, and then the wind picks up. So this is a day to really, really be careful. Don't want anything to get started, but this is the kind of weather pattern where bad things happen with low humidity, heat, and wind all coming together. Now, by Tuesday, it's still hot. You can still see the heat in Texas here, Oklahoma and Kansas and eastern Colorado and across the Southwest. But notice, these are the forecasted high temperatures. Look at that, only in the 60s up there with the cooler air associated with that front. And some of that cooler air comes in. It's also air of much lower humidity air, drier air. Cold fronts are like brooms. They will sweep away the current air mass and replace it with another one. So drier air comes in Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's going to negate thunderstorms. Now here's your precipitable water for today. You can see there's a pretty good plume of that subtropical moisture that we showed you on the satellite imagery right here. So there's going to be some shower and thunderstorm development in some of these areas. However, this dry air right here slides into the region as we get into the middle of the week. Over the next 2 days, this is where the thunderstorms are going to be forming. You can see those thunderstorms up along the U.S.-Canadian border. Some of those will be severe. And then across the Great Basin and Rockies, you see there's going to be a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity. It's just not going to be terribly productive, and a lot of this is going to be happening today. Lesser chances Tuesday and into Wednesday. Here it is. You can see the dry air. This is the precipitable water by tomorrow afternoon. I talked about that cold front being like a broom. Look at the drier air just punching into the region behind that cold front. So what that's going to do is suppress to the south the monsoonal moisture. Now, behind the front, there's always a return flow the next day or two. So what we do see is by the end of the week, some of that subtropical moisture working its way back to the north, and that's going to lead to thunderstorm activity again by later in the week and over the weekend. The high pressure by Wednesday's right on top of Arizona, so the heat is going to continue. And then as we get into Sunday, so this is Wednesday, this is Sunday. Notice the shift in the high. The shift in the high is back to the east. So here's the door. The door right here gets swung open to the southwest United States, and the monsoonal moisture has entry back into the Intermountain West and the Great Basin again. This is going to happen by this weekend and into early next week. And this is by Sunday. By Sunday, the monsoon comes back into this region right here. And this arch of higher humidity air may end up being around for a good chunk of next week. So next week, the monsoon moisture pattern could bring increased thunderstorm activity to the Intermountain West. This will be especially true over southern Wyoming, Colorado, parts of Utah, back into Arizona. There it is. This is by next Tuesday. You see this arch right here? This arch of moisture could be hanging around for a few days next week, and that could mean daily afternoon and evening thunderstorm chances kicking in the gear this weekend and next week. Something we'll keep an eye on for the next several days. Have yourself a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay cool.